For the first time, diplomats from the group of 8 Nordic-Baltic countries visited Kharkiv. The ambassadors spent 2 days working in the Frontline city, meeting with residents, students, and representatives of the local authorities. What kind of assistance they offered and what they came to learn, you'll see in the report by Svetlana Shekere.
The European delegation descends into the shelter to visit the underground school classrooms. The guests are told this is a necessary measure so that Kharkiv schoolchildren can study safely.
And how are you doing?
This is indeed stalling.
That is looking very good. I can definitely see that, don't you agree? Oh, you have done a wonderful job.
The diplomats can't help but smile. The students are asked if they understand English and wished success.
That sounds great. I really appreciate it.
You are required to advance to the next grade.
Goodbye.
All right then, goodbye. Take care of yourself.
The initiator of the visit by the delegation of diplomats from the Nordic-Baltic countries is the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Lithuania to Ukraine.
This is a historic moment. For the first time we have gathered in such a composition not only in Kharkiv but in Ukraine as a whole. Our goal is to listen to you, to learn about your urgent needs and your assessment of the security situation, as well as to see firsthand the solutions you have made and implemented.
In the underground conference hall, representatives of Ukrainian frontline cities introduced their communities to partners and outlined priorities for cooperation with the EU. The head of the association proposes a pilot project for the next 2 years. The package includes providing heat, water and electricity, building hospitals and schools, restoring damaged housing, as well as comprehensive rehabilitation for veterans.
And right now we are working according to the principle of build back better. In other words, we are not just restoring what we had before. Taking into account the risks of war, we are creating new, more efficient formats for the functioning of our cities. We are also very interested in the experience of your cities and regions, for example, in transforming single industry towns and diversifying the economy.
Ukrainian communities are calling on the European delegation to help attract EU grants. In particular, Kharkiv, where the Russians have destroyed part of the heat and power generation, needs assistance in creating an energy island, a system for autonomous power supply to the city.
As for energy and the continued creation of the energy island and a diversified heating supply system, for us this is truly a matter of survival. And this winter has proven it. That's why I will be appealing to our partners, to our international partners, because doing this on our own would require enormous funds. We can attract private businesses here, and there are certain things regarding the insurance of military risks.
Diplomats from the Nordic-Baltic states say they are also interested in direct contacts between cities.
We are ready to implement joint projects in the fields of the military-industrial complex, cybersecurity and information protection. We support establishing direct contacts between municipalities.
Moreover, Europeans themselves are studying the experience of life in Ukraine's frontline cities.
When I first traveled to Kharkiv from Kiev via Poltava, I saw a transformer substation engulfed in flames by the side of the road. This time, as I passed by, I saw it had been completely restored. But now it is protected by powerful reinforced concrete. You are learning from your own experience, and we also strive to adopt this experience from you.
As a result of the meeting, the parties agreed to create a working group and develop a roadmap to achieve concrete results in the near future. Svetlana Shekere, Alexander Yanovsky, Podrobici, Inter TV channel, United News Marathon.
The Netherlands is demonstrating exactly the kind of support that Ukraine needs. President Volodymyr Zelensky stated this following his meeting with the country's Prime Minister Rob Jetten. The Netherlands is one of the largest donors to the Pearl Initiative, providing 750 million euros. As the President noted, another package of air defense missiles and ammunition for F-16s was recently funded. In addition, Ukraine is producing weapons together with the Netherlands, and this joint work will not only continue, but will also expand.
It is important that together with the Netherlands, we are already producing weapons. We have started this. We will definitely continue this joint work. We will increase this. In particular, this is stipulated in the joint statement that we adopted today between our countries. And in Druskivka, there was a very specific request from our military. Regarding the radars, I won't go into details now, but we need them very much. This is something that helps with defense, specifically with protecting our soldiers. And this is quite a challenge. This is a very painful issue, and the Netherlands is one of the countries that produces the best such radars. And today we discussed, among other things, this particular request. I conveyed the request from our armed forces to the Prime Minister.
Constant attacks on infrastructure facilities have made it truly very difficult for Ukrainians during this winter period. That is why support in this area remains a key element. We have provided €500 million in aid for the purchase of gas and for the repair of energy infrastructure facilities. And we will continue to do so. Of course, the Netherlands is one of the largest donors under the Pearl program. We have provided a large amount of funding. Recently, we financed another aid package. We will also invest in the production of hundreds of thousands of drones for the Frontline, as well as in joint drone production both in the Netherlands and in Ukraine.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Andriy Sybiha, called on Hungary to return the currency and valuables from the Oshad Bank armored cash-in-transit vehicles. This concerns $40 million, 35 million euros, and 9 kilograms of bank gold. He reminded that today marks the third day since Budapest stopped the armored cash-in-transit vehicles that were transporting currency and valuables from Austria to Ukraine. Sybiha emphasizes the funds do not belong to Hungary or its authorities, but are the property of the Ukrainian state-owned Oshad Bank, that is, the Ukrainian taxpayers. He also appealed to Europe, stating that such an act requires universal condemnation. Let me remind you, the 7 detained Ukrainian cash couriers were returned to Ukraine on March 6th. Hungary, however, insists that it does not know the origin of this cargo and will conduct an investigation. The American contingent in Iran. President Donald Trump allows for the possibility of deploying U.S. ground troops. Hostilities in the Middle East continue. Israel is striking military targets in Iran and Lebanon, while Tehran responds with sharp statements and attacks in the region.
Russian oil is burning in Cuban. In Novorossiysk, more Russian ships have been hit, and near Donetsk, the defense forces destroyed a Shahed base. Ukraine is scaling up strikes on Russian rear positions to the maximum extent. Just this week, the defense forces have forced the enemy to count losses in the billions and have paralyzed their logistics and exports. Details in the report by Daniil Diamin.
On the night before March 8th, drones reached Armavir in Russia's Krasnodar Krai. The southern oil company was targeted. Local sources are publishing footage of thick smoke and fire. After the explosions, fuel storage tanks on the base caught fire. And near Donetsk airport, the enemy was subjected to a real hell with AT-CMS and Scalp missiles. The target was a site for storing and preparing Shahed attack drones. The objective control footage shows a massive fire and powerful secondary detonations. The occupiers lost an entire arsenal of drones. But the most significant blow to the Kremlin's economy was delivered during the massive attack on Novorossiysk. Ukrainian drones successfully broke through the defenses and struck the strategic Sheksari's oil terminal. The facility belongs to the sanctioned company Transneft. Oil loading racks and the local naval base were hit. As usual, the Russian authorities tried to explain it away with claims of debris, but footage of the fire and intense gunfire tells a different story. In addition to the oil, Black Sea Fleet vessels in Novorossiysk suffered significant damage. Sources confirm that the minesweeper Valentin Pikul, the anti-submarine ships Yeysk and Kasimov, as well as the frigates Admiral Essen and Admiral Makarov were hit. In addition, special forces destroyed an enemy Ka-27 helicopter in the Black Sea waters. New details have emerged about the aftermath of the strike on the Albash-Nafta oil refinery in Kuban. 4 huge storage tanks were completely burned out there and 3 more were damaged. Meanwhile, in the Saratov region, the local oil refinery and the strategic Engels 2 airbase came under a massive air raid.
As a result of the UAV activity, there is damage to property. Specialists are responding to all emergencies immediately. All relevant services are working at the site. According to preliminary information, 3 people were injured. They have received the necessary medical assistance.
To ensure the success of these attacks, the defense forces are methodically blinding the Russians. Over the course of a week, an entire network of enemy surveillance systems has been wiped out. In occupied Crimea, a unique long-range space communication center and the Podlyot radar station have been destroyed. In the Luhansk and Donetsk regions, radars for the S-300 as well as Kasta and Yastreb stations have been disabled, while in the Zaporizhzhia and Kherson regions, Pantsir S-1 and Tor anti-aircraft systems have been hit. Also this week, the defense forces have subtracted $1 billion from the Russian budget. In the Belgorod region, the pride of the occupiers' army, the S-400 Triumph anti-aircraft missile system, was turned into scrap metal. Aerial reconnaissance skillfully tracked the target, and National Guard strike drone operators delivered a precisely accurate strike.
After conducting joint analytical work, the aerial reconnaissance of the 429th Separate Battalion of Special Purpose Reconnaissance scouted enemy territory and detected the anti-aircraft missile system. Information about it was passed on to the National Guard's Lasers Group Strike UAV unit.
Deprived of its eyes and air defense, the enemy is rapidly losing positions on the front line. Over the course of the week, ammunition depots in Berdyansk and Havardiysk were destroyed, as well as a concentration of Iskander missiles in Crimea, along with a whole series of drone control points and the Rubicon Electronic Intelligence Unit from the occupied south to Russia's Belgorod region. Ukrainian drones are systematically disrupting military logistics and draining the aggressor's wallet. Daniil Diomin. Details, Inter TV channel, United News Marathon.